The lie was the first thing I noticed. Wasn't the words, wasn't the stiff uniform or the federal wildlife badge they always get the props right when they want you to believe a show. No. The lie was in his eyes, dead and empty, the kind you see on men who are there for a paycheck, not a cause. I spent 20 years reading those eyes before things blew up. Army Rangers made me good at that, and I knew right away this guy wasn't here for justice or even a proper fight. "We have a warrant to search the premises, Mr. Hayes," he said, with three more just like him, spreading out across my gravel drive, too clean, too careful, like city kids playing soldier for the first time. Their boots were new sidearms, still awkward, all show and no scars. Hired muscle playing at law. I kept my voice even, hands loose, told myself not to show them the engine revving inside. "A warrant for what I asked." He just grinned, anonymous tip. Illegal poaching. Protected species. He let it hang in the morning air like a bad joke. Poaching here. I almost laughed, thinking of the only thing I ever hunted on this land, a bit of peace. But you don't chase snakes off by shouting. You let them show their fangs first. "Be my guest," I said, nodding to the barn. They moved clumsy, heavy steps right to where they already knew they'd find what they wanted. Sure enough, barely a minute passed before a shout from the barn. "Over here!" One of the goons came out holding up a bag with 3 brown and white feathers and an old rusted leg trap. Bald eagle feathers, no less. Planted so obvious it was almost funny. The leader turned, smirk curling up. "You have the right to remain silent, Mr. Hayes. This is federal." Blood ran cold, but before I could call his bluff, a deep rumble came down the county road. One of those sounds you feel in your bones before you hear it. At first, just a low growl, then louder thunder rolling in. 6 bikes crest the hill, tight formation. The Iron Hounds family, not a gang, pulled up, cut their engines, let the silence do the talking. Preacher Graybeard and world-worn eyes stepped off. First ignored, the feds looked right at me. "Everything all right here?" Cal voice, like a still lake, calm but with weight. Leader's face flickered, his little kingdom built on gravel, and nerves started to crumble. This is official business," he stammered. Preacher just nodded slow. "Looked official, right up until we got here." That did it. The feds scattered, scrambling for their black SUVs, tires spinning, leaving only dust and cowardice. I exhaled finally. "They planted it, Preacher," I muttered. "I know," he said, eyes fixed on the barn. "But the real question is, who sent them?" Wasn't about eagle feathers. Wasn't about law. It was about greed. About what Haven Ranch meant. I built this place as a promise for the guys who didn't make it home and for the broken ones who did. A sanctuary, not a commodity. And they just picked a fight with a handful of men with nothing left to lose except that promise. The answer to Preacher's question was simple and ugly: greed. Someone saw this quiet land as blank space on a map, another spot for a row of cookie-cutter mansions. Not a home, not a brotherhood, just dollars. The house wasn't much to look at, old, battered, rebuilt with my own hands. But its worth was in the silence, the men inside, the garden outside. I could see young Danny through the kitchen window washing vegetables, hands gentle for a man who'd only just learned to stand in a quiet room again. It was a miracle, 5 of them under my roof. We weren't a hospital, and I wasn't a shrink. We just worked the land, fixed what broke, and tried to let the quiet do its work. We didn't talk about war, but you could feel it hanging in the air with the ghosts we all carried. "It's the HOA," I said finally. Preacher raised an eyebrow. Summit Creek Estates. Evelyn Reed. The name stuck in my teeth. HOA president business suit that cost more than my truck plastic smile, always scanning, calculating. She'd started small paint complaints, fence issues, all dismissed. Now she'd gone federal. She couldn't beat me legal, so she made me a criminal, hoping to tie me up, drain me out, force me to sell. Julian Croft, CEO of the whole development, probably saw my land as the next fairway for his golf course. Evelyn was his bulldog. That afternoon, the Iron Hounds gathered in my barn. Frank Wrecking Ball Rizzo wanted to go over there, show her what happens when you poke a bear. Preacher held him back. "They want us to be criminals," he said. "Let's not do their job for them." Leo Glitch Martinez. The kid with more brains than luck checked the HOA website. Open forum tomorrow night. I told the crew we're going to their meeting. Not loud, quiet, steady. Let them see us, watch how they work. But a chill had settled in me. Evelyn had known exactly where to plant the evidence, how to get the feds here, how to scrub the security footage so clean you'd think it never existed. Leo tried hacking the system, came up with nothing. A 4-hour gap logs corrupted, all too professional. That night, the club felt different. Every conversation sounded suspicious. I caught myself watching Shane, the newest guy, always broke, suddenly sporting a shiny new exhaust. Maybe just luck, but maybe not. That poison suspicion, it eats you up. Preacher's contact led us to a landscaper fired after seeing something he shouldn't near the clubhouse. He agreed to meet us at a diner but never showed. As we got up to leave, I got a text, "You should have stayed on your ranch." 8 words that cut through all doubt someone inside was selling us out. That night I sat on the porch. Preacher joined me. "We have a leak," I said. He just nodded like he'd known all along. The meeting tomorrow, a trap probably, but maybe our only shot. The best place to hide is in plain sight. We'd go, but with new eyes, hunting 2 enemies, now Evelyn and the snake in our own ranks. We worked the next day digging into Croft's web. Preacher's old friend Sully, 40 years in county records, helped us follow the money past the HOA, past the shell companies, right to Croft's door. My ranch right in the path of his luxury lifestyle plan. That night the anger settled into resolve. We laid out the plan, a show of force at the HOA meeting, a diversion for the traitor to report back. Leo would slip inside, get proof from Evelyn's computer. The snake in the grass. That was my job. At the last minute, I'd told the crew about a supposed drop-off, an ex-accountant leaving evidence behind the clubhouse at 8:15. Shane, I said, needed to watch the loading dock. The look in his eyes, panic calculation, gave it away. The pieces were moving. We rode in engines loud, forming a wall in front of the clubhouse, drawing every eye. Preacher's calm words cut through the tension. "Just here to share some concerns, ma'am." Evelyn's mask slipped. Croft stood behind her, smug. The crowd grew restless. While everyone watched the standoff, Leo slipped away. He found Evelyn's office, hacked her laptop, and started pulling files. Meanwhile, I tailed Shane to the back, caught him red-handed, sending a message just as Croft's security stepped out of the shadows. I confronted him. He cracked, said Croft's lawyer promised him a buyout, told him no one would get hurt. Right then, the rest of the crew closed in, blocking every exit. And inside, chaos erupted. A recording of Evelyn blared over the speakers. "I don't care how you do it. Plant the feathers. Make him look like a monster. Julian wants that land." On the screen, Leo flashed the invoices, the emails, everything tying Evelyn and Croft to the frame-up. Homeowners gasped, some shouting, some stunned. Sirens wailed. Justice for once arrived on time. Evelyn and Croft were cuffed and led away, their empire crashing down. We rode home in silence, the night heavy. Back in the barn, the club gathered. Preacher faced Shane. No anger, just disappointment. "This patch is a promise. You broke it." I cut the threads from Shane's vest. He left patches in hand out into the dark alone. The news spread. The ranch was safe, but the victory felt hollow. I called a journalist, told her the truth, not just about Croft, but about what the ranch really meant. The story hit a nerve. Support poured in, donations, help apologies from neighbors who'd once been enemies. Weeks passed. The air's quiet now. Frank and Leo are building a greenhouse. Preacher sits reading, a small smile on his face. We lost a brother, but gained a community. For the first time, looking out across Haven Ranch, home feels like home again. So let me ask you, when the war comes to your doorstep, what would you give up to defend what matters? Would you know a snake in the grass from a brother by your side? Or does justice just depend on whose story gets told loudest? Tell me what you think. Who was right, who was wrong, and what kind of community you'd fight for. Drop your thoughts below. This is a story that's bigger than me, and I want to hear yours.